It always begins the same way. I wake up in total darkness. I wonder briefly if I'm alive, and I wonder if I am alone. I am about to call out, "Who's there? Who's there?" But a restraining hand clutches my heart, and so I remain silent. And so I wait as my eyes slowly, ever so slowly, begin to grow accustomed to the dark. Gradually, I become aware of a faint light, a glow far off in the distance. And as my eyes slowly adjust, I come to understand that I am lying on the ground, on the floor of a vast corridor or tunnel. I can hear a faint pulsing sound, which makes me think of heavy machinery. Such are my surroundings. But how did I get here? Who am I? Who am I? Who? My name is Noel. Noel. Yeah, Noel. Noel Davidson. The last thing I remember is being in my bedroom, turning out the lights and going to bed. Am I asleep? Is this some kind of strange dream? Well, if it's a dream, then I'm bound to wake up, right? 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 But I don't. I don't wake up. Instead, the darkness gradually begins to lighten, while the rhythmic sound of the distant machinery begins increasing. So, after a time, which might be a minute, and which might be an hour, I rise unsteadily to my feet and begin to walk towards the light. And as I do, the corridor begins to narrow, and the light becomes more distinct. It's a brilliant, blinding, pure white light, and it flickers with a strobe effect in time to the pounding of the distant machinery. I walk towards it, drawn to the intense light. And then I wake up, and I'm back in my old, familiar, too warm bedroom, my heart palpitating, my body drenched in sweat, and terrified. Terrified. But of what? The first time it happened, I just put it down to a bad dream. But then, a few nights later, I woke up and found myself back in the corridor and closer to the light. I continued to walk towards the light, but slowly, with great hesitation, in intense fear of something connected to the light, something beyond the light. I would move until I came to a bend in the corridor, a corner, and there I would stop dead and cower in the gloom, and then wake up and be back in my room, still quaking in fear. This was more than a bad dream. In truth, The experience was so awful, I was afraid to go to sleep. And soon I was exhausted and on the verge of a nervous collapse. And so I ended up going to see Dr. Geiger. Perhaps he could tell me, am I really Noel Davidson? Or am I some unknown man dwelling in darkness and shadow? What was dream or nightmare? And what was reality? Dr. Geiger was an intense little man with a full head of shaggy hair and huge, huge Coke bottle glasses. I didn't like him much, but he gave my story his rapt attention, then said, "You say you experience sheer terror?" "Yeah." "Of what?" "I don't really know. Something around the bend in the corridor. Something around the corner. Something that, What?" "I don't know. I don't know. I only know it terrifies me." "You know what you must do then. You must confront it. The next time you dream and you find yourself in the corridor, you must go around the corner. Go around the corner and confront whatever is there." I don't think I can. I don't think I can face it." "But you must. You must. Come, lie down here on this couch. I shall help you." I lay on the couch, and Geiger hypnotized me, first putting me through a relaxation exercise to put me in a receptive state of mind. "You will return to the corridor," the doctor's voice purred. "Return to the dark hallway and walk towards the light. Walk towards the pulsing light, to the bend in the corridor, the corner. And then you will turn the corner and confront whatever is there." And so I did. It always began the same way. I would wake up and find myself in a strange room in the dark. I would be lying in bed, drenched in cold sweat, my heart pounding so hard I could hear it in the drear and total silence. It was the silence which truly disturbed me. I could no longer hear the rhythmic sounds of the machinery. I'm not able to get back to sleep, and eventually the bedroom fills with light, and I rise and leave the room, and eventually leave the house in which the bedroom is situated. I move about the world, a stranger in a strange land, interacting with strangers who know me and called me by a name, Noel Davidson. Noel Davidson, a name which I didn't recognize. And all the time I was in mortal terror of an enemy lurking somewhere in the background and working to destroy me. Working to destroy me, while I also wondered if I would ever return to my home, to the dark, to the sound of the machinery, to the distant pulsing light. And every night in this new world of horror, I would return to the bedroom, lie down on the bed, and for a short time return to my blessed home in the shadows and gloom. But always, always I returned to this world of horror and drew closer to my mortal enemy, until one day, after an eternity of agony, I met him. I met him face to face. He was an intense little man with a full head of shaggy hair and huge, huge Coke bottle glasses. An intense little man named Dr. Geiger, and he attempted to put me under hypnosis, no doubt, in order to destroy me. You will return to the corridor, his voice purred. Return to the dark hallway and walk towards the light. Walk towards the pulsing light, to the bend in the corridor, the corner, and then you will turn the corner. You will turn the corner and confront it. Confront whatever is there. And I did. But first, I arose from the couch, my mind in that strange, agonizing space, that twilight zone between consciousness and oblivion, terror and nirvana. Geiger stared up at me in surprise. "What is it you see?" I saw a blinding white light, as intense as the core of a nuclear blast furnace. And in the center of the light, the dark face of a man with shaggy hair and huge, huge Coke bottle glasses, and a thin, white neck, a thin, white throat. I reached out for that thin, white throat, and I grabbed it with my hard, rough hands, and I squeezed it and squeezed it to kill the thing that was trying to destroy me, which had planted its awful tendrils in my mind to control my thoughts, to control me. Control! And then it was dead. He was dead. I went and lay down on the couch and closed my eyes. And soon I was back to the corridor, back to the darkness, the pounding of the machinery, the pulsing of the lights. Back to the corridor. Back home. Forever. The murder of psychiatrist Stuart Geiger has been added to the myriad list of unsolved crimes. He was found strangled, while the patient he was with at the time, Noel Davidson, has, despite the best efforts of the authorities, vanished into thin air. In fact, there is some question. Did Noel Davidson really exist at all? The moral of the story: sometimes in life, turning the corner isn't the best option. Moral of the story number 2. Who says you can't go home again? If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the Night Floaters, werewolves, and the Black-Eyed Children. So again, please consider subscribing. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,021 subs in 2021. Till midnight. Cheers. Pictures used in today's video, courtesy of Pix Here, that's PX Here, while the music was The Dreadful, The Dread, by that patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod.